बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम अल्लाहुम्मा सल्ली अला सय्यिदिना व मौलाना मुहम्मदिन व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि व बारिक वसल्लम. Dear fellows, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi. This is Dr. Rana Tanveer Hussain, and today we are going to discuss a very important topic which is called hypothesis development. In hypothesis development, in previous video which you have definitely watched, talked about the theoretical framework. And once you have chalked out theoretical framework in which you have identified all the relevant variables, all important variables are chalked out in the theoretical framework. You have given the justification, you have linked them, you have make your model, and now you are moving towards the statistical analysis. So before you move towards the statistical analysis, you have to develop some testable statements. So to do this, you have to develop your hypothesis. So what is a hypothesis? Hypothesis is basically a logical conjecture relationship between two or more variables expressed from in the form of the testable statements. So we have to generate some testable statements. Like if we take the example of theoretical framework, it will become very easy to form the relevant hypothesis. For example, if you take this example, if the pilots are given adequate training, so adequate to handle mid-air crowd situations, air safety violation will be reduced. So here you have established relationship uh, in the form of statement that adequate training basically handles the safety violations, air safety violations. So it will reduce the air safety violations. So this statement is basically a hypothesis. Hypotheses basically are the if-then statements. If this happens, for example, if employees who are more healthy, then they will get sick leave less frequently. So healthiness belongs towards the habit of getting the leaves. So leave will be applied in less form if employees are healthy. So this statement or this type of statement in the form of if and then is the hypothesis. Next, hypothesis could be the directional hypothesis or it could be the non-directional hypothesis. These statements could have the words such as positive, negative, more than, less than, or like. For example, the greater the stress experience in the job, the lower the job satisfaction of the employee. So in this statement, the greater or the lower basically give us a direction. Women are more motivated than men. So we have to prove these statements, this hypothesis, this testable statement having the word of more. So this is a directional hypothesis. And if we talk about the non-directional hypothesis, in non-directional hypothesis, we can make statements in the form of like there is a relationship between age and job satisfaction. So here we are not giving any kind of positive, negative, greater than, less than direction in the statement. There is a difference between the work ethic values of American and the Asian employees. So here we are talking about a difference. So there is no direction in it. So these two statements are the non-directional hypothesis. Hypothesis could have two types, null and alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis is basically the proposition which is basically equal to the zero. Like we want to nullify a claim. This is called the null hypothesis. And alternate hypothesis is opposite to the null hypothesis, and this is our real claim. The claim which we want to prove in our research is mentioned in the form of alternate hypothesis, the claim. our main claim. In previous all examples, we have formed alternate hypothesis. And opposite to alternate hypothesis is the null hypothesis. Null is to be nullified, is to have a zero relationship, is to basically is opposite to our claim. For example, let's have a last example. In previous video, we have taken this example like availability of reference material have a linkage with the product rejects. The more reference manuals will be available for the employees, the less will be the product rejects. And there is another variable which is the moderating variable, inclination and urge of the employees to use this reference. And if we make the model from this example, it will look like this, a moderating causation model where we have independent variable, and a moderating variable. So first of all, we will make first hypothesis. Uh, like availability of reference manuals has positive effect or a negative effect on number of rejects. So what will be our claim? Our claim is that availability of reference manuals decreases the number of rejects. Decreases the number of rejects. This is our main claim. And opposite to this claim will have that availability of reference manuals increases the number of rejects. And second one is interest and inclination has a moderating effect on the availability of reference manuals and number of rejects. So these are two claims. And how can we form their hypothesis? In our next slide, we have two hypotheses. One is the H naught, another one is the H1. This is our first hypothesis. And in our first hypothesis, availability of a reference manual has negative effect on the number of product rejects, right? This is our main claim, which we have taken from the scenario, from the paragraph, from the background which we have given in the research, in the introductory part, in the literature. So we have taken this relationship from the literature. Literature basically guides us to form the hypothesis. This is our main claim, and opposite to this main claim is this statement that availability of reference manual has a positive effect, or we can have has no effect on the number of product rejects. So this is our first hypothesis. Second hypothesis is the our main claim is in H1 alternate hypothesis where we have interest and inclination has a moderating effect on between availability of reference manual and number of product rejects. This is our main claim, and opposite to this main claim that this variable, moderating variable, has no moderating effect between the independent variable and dependent variable. So these two hypotheses are formed, and we can also depict on the model as well. First hypothesis and then second hypothesis. Null and alternate hypothesis will link this one, and then null and alternate hypothesis will link the moderating effect basically. Thank you so much. I hope you got the understanding, the basic understanding of hypothesis developed. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.